Here we are.
Thank you,
Hello.
guys. Yes, we're here. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
I'm Pascal.
I'm Gudrun.
And there's Ildiko and Charlo and Alessandro with us.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone.
So Gudrun and I were talking to you from Iceland. And yesterday it was snowing, and today it is full sunshine. So we are here today and happy to have you with us, because what we want to do is to present you a new tool that we have developed. And we think it will be very useful and very interesting to use in many diverse situations. So that's what we're on about tonight. This tool has been developed by an association called Learn to Change. Some of you know us. What we do is that we're an international organization, and we provide learning opportunities for personal and professional development. Our vision is that we should have a world in which education is the foundation of a just, inclusive, thriving, and happy society.
Wait. Sorry. People say that are only listening, right? Okay. So.
There's no image.
Okay, let's say.
We can't see you.
How about now? Is it better?
Can you see us?
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
No image. So the nice part of the live stream.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure we will fix it.
Well,
Okay.
what should I do?
Now it should be. Now it should be good.
How about now? Can you see us?
We can imagine.
Nice to listen to you. Yes, thank you, Marta.
Not yet, Alessandro.
Okay. Now it should be good. No? Yes.
Nope. Nothing. Margaret Tata is here. Anna Maria. Yeah.
Here we are.
Hello again.
I'm sorry.
Well, you heard me, so I'm not going to start all over what I was saying, but I'm happy that you see Gudrun and me now. And I was just saying a few words about who we are, for those of you who don't know our association. And I think the most important thing to say is that we believe that education has a role to play for shaping a society that is much more humane, and that in which we have much more respect for diversity, and ways to live together that are nonviolent, and in which we can thrive and be happy. So that was a reformulation of what I said before, for those of you who are just arriving, because I see there are more people coming in now, which is absolutely fantastic. So what do we do to reach our vision and mission? We offer training. So if you would like to have an association and a group of wonderful trainers come to your parts to do some workshops or whatever that's possible. And we offer coaching, and basically all our services center on developing more competencies for democracy in schools and in diverse situations. So let's reinvent the way we learn to change the society we live in. Tonight, what we want specifically is to talk about Cards for Democracy. And this is a tool that's been developed with many people. And some of you know that we had already had another previous version. And tonight, what we're actually presenting to you is a set of Cards for Democracy for all. And when we mean for all, we're talking about little ones who are 2 years old, and we're talking about middle-aged ones and bigger people and older people and younger people, meaning really these are cards for democracy for all. And what you'll be seeing later is that we'll be developing specific packs for specific situations and more professional situations. But this pack is really for every day and for everyone. And it's free because we put it on Creative Commons. So if you want it, you just go and you download it. And what we would like is to have people working with us to translate it so that it's more available to more people, and also possibly developing it to work that's always in progress, never finished. So we count on the feedback that you can give us. What do you think?
About the cards?
Yeah?
Oh, I'm so excited about it. We have several examples here.
That's great.
That we are going to explore with you.
Yes. We'll be giving a lot of tips on how to use the cards, which is also really important. Now, Alessandro has a few things to tell us about how to live this experience fully. Ale,
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. We are quite a big number, more than I expected, honestly. So basically we will be with you until 20. We will try to be on time. And in the Facebook, I will switch to so in the chat, feel free to write any kind of question or comments, and we will provide space to you by the means of this question. So, okay, I will switch again on you, Pascal.
Thank you very much, Alessandro. Alessandro is hosting this event, so he's dealing with all the technical aspects and making sure that you get the information that we want to get to you. So next, to tell us something about the website and how to access the cards will be Shalo. Shalo, are you in the house?
Yes, I'm in the house, and speaking to you from Malta here, and it hasn't been snowing today. It's actually very warm, 21 degrees, I think. We're just about ready to start swimming. So, what I would like to do is to show you where you can get the cards from. As Pascal just said, they are free for you to download. And I'm going to be sharing my screen with you.
Okay, perfect.
As you can see, this is
Charlotte, sorry, close the Skype, exactly. Thank you very much.
As you can see, this is our website. Lots of interesting stuff on the website for you to look for. Not just what Pascal was talking about, our philosophy, what we offer, but we also publish regularly blog posts, which you can access quite clearly from the blog page. You can also subscribe, and you will receive an email notification about the blogs being published in your email. And as you can see, our latest blog post is Cards for Democracy for All. Getting access to these cards is fairly easy, so just click on cards. You can click either on the words or on the picture, and that will take you to the article which describes the Cards for Democracy for All. And as you can see, there is information about the cards. And if you scroll down, there's this nice picture here, and all you need to do is click on it, and this will take you to the product, which is cards. It's a product, so you add it to your cart, but it's also free of charge, so you're not going to pay anything for this. And it's telling me you can't add another Cards for Democracy for All to your card, because I was trying this earlier. So I can't add a second product. I will go to start. Bear with me. So as you can see, I have I'm in the cart. The next cart, I go to the cart, and that's the cart for democracy. I'm not paying anything, so I'm going to proceed to check out. Don't stop giving details because continue.
Do you need it?
Place your order. Before doing that, you have to something to check.
You can also buy other stuff from our website.
So I checked this before and it worked brilliantly, and now because it's
no, it's because you need to log in now.
I am logged in.
Okay.
It's actually very simple. So sorry if I'm messing this up for everyone.
No, I think it's fine. It's clear that you can't do it because you have already done your order.
Sorry, can you say it again, Charlotte, please?
I have already downloaded my pack of cards earlier.
Okay.
So this is the reason why.
Okay. Charlotte?
Yeah, I'm still
It's
here.
okay. I think it's okay. We got the way you can do it. So if you have this open on your desktop, you could show it, or we could move on, whichever solution you prefer. The blog also, I think you wanted to tell us about.
Yes, I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the blog, and then I'll also show you.
Can you share the screen again, please?
Yes, in a minute, Alessandro. So I'm sharing my screen with you again.
Okay.
And once you download the cards, this is what you will get. You will get a file, a PDF file, with all the 60 cards, as you can see on my screen. And we suggest you print these on some thick card, as I have done here. Of course, you're looking at my screen now, so I can't show you, but I'll show you in a minute. So these are the cards. You download them, print them in color, and they also come with their little box, which you can put together so that you can keep all your set of cards together. Also wanted to speak to you a little bit about the blog before proceeding with the cards. And when you click on the blog, you can see quite a few entries now, because we've been doing this for the past, I think, 2 years or so, publishing regular ideas, activities, initiatives, articles, food for thought. Blogs or articles are also open for comments, and we invite you to actually come along and engage in a conversation with us about our ideas, our activities, and what we're doing. Stop sharing the screen with you. And let me just show you. Once you download the cards, this is what you get. Now it's a matter of cutting them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Charlotte.
Okay, over to you again.
All right. And so what we want also is, so you saw the difference. The cards we had before were very specific, and here all the statements that are on these cards are with I, and Gudrun is going to show you a few.
For example, you have one here. I hope you can see it. It is, I listen to people attentively. So can you say yes to this question or critically analyze what you do in everyday practices? And we have more. Like it here. Maybe because you have showed you more colorful. I am sensitive to other people's needs and try to help when I can. Okay.
Which is something you do most of the time.
Thank you. It's also good to have critical friends.
Yes, and it can also be used for self-assessment,
Yeah.
which is really great. So I think now the best we can do for you is to show a few examples of activities that we can do in cards. And this is why I'm going to give the floor right now to Ildiko, who's going to start presenting one example of an activity. Ildiko, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Cool.
Many of you know that I work in teacher education, so I'm in a pre-service English teacher program setting. So I often use the cards there, actually the previous version of the cards and even the earlier version of the cards. But I'm pretty sure that with the new set of cards, everything will be easier and more fun. To the point, perhaps. But I would like to tell you about one example. Once I used a card on what we call Diversity Day at my university. So with pre-service teachers and some of my colleagues, actually about 50 people. And Ala perhaps can show you some pictures while I describe the activity.
Yes, Ildiko, you can share your screen if you want to do that.
I can try, but it might not be so easy for me.
Otherwise, I will show them if you want me.
I think that would be better, Alex.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Thank you. So basically, it was the event was called Diversity Day, and I used the earlier version of the set of the cards for a speed dating activity, which meant that people, about 40, 50 people, stood in two lines facing each other, and pairs were actually discussing statements on the cards, one at a time, for about 3 minutes. And the way we went about this was that they actually tried to, I asked them to first talk about diversity and discrimination and empathy related statements. And I asked them to first talk about what they already do to ensure that these things are there in their classroom. And they exchanged for about 3 minutes, and then they moved on to the next partner and the next card. So this is why we call it speed dating activity, because you have about 3 minutes to talk to one partner, and then you switch, you go to the next person, talk about the next topic, next statement, and this way in about 15 minutes, you get to talk to 5 people about 5 different things and learn a lot about each other's experience. So this proved to be quite useful. It was also quite noisy. I have to say, with 40, 50 people in the same room, talking all at the same time. But it was fun, and the debriefing discussion afterwards was a bit more quiet, so we were not so noisy in the debriefing discussion. And it turned out that a lot of people enjoyed the activity much and found new ideas to deal with, not only deal with, but to benefit from diversity. And for this activity, I selected only 20 of the cards. I didn't use the whole pack. And I think that's also a very nice thing about the pack of cards, that they are very versatile. They can be used in many different ways. So this is one example. Maybe one of you can share another one.
Thanks a lot, Yildiko. That's a very good example. Speed dating for diversity. Love it. And yeah, I forgot to mention that there are 60 cards, and you're right, you don't have to use them all in the same. You can make your choices considering what you're trying to achieve. I think Charlo also has a good activity to share here for primary school.
Absolutely. As you know, as some of you know, I'm a school principal in a primary school, and the age of the children in my school go from 7 to 10 years. So we're now talking about very young children, and I have selected cards that children can relate with. So again, I chose which cards I wanted to use. So just to give you an example, when possible, I choose to cooperate rather than compete. I listen to people attentively. I always try to explain my thoughts clearly. And what I did was, each kid in the class got one of these cards on Monday morning, and they had a challenge. They had to read what's on the card, think about it, and then put it in practice. And at the end of the week, we had a debriefing session where we spoke about our experience, how we felt easy about what they were doing, what was difficult, how did they relate to the card, to the statement of the card, how that makes being more democratic means. And of course, if you're the teacher in the classroom, you know your kids really well, and then you can actually pick and choose specific cards for therefore really targeting the needs of the individual children in the classroom. And it's at the end of the week, this was quite an interesting discussion with the kids, saying, this is how I felt, this is what I'm going to try and do next. And of course, this is something that you can repeat over time using different cards with different children. And I'm looking forward to repeating this again with children, but also with teachers in my school. So they have a lot of uses, and they can be used in different contexts across different age groups, from very young children to adults and even teachers, even though there is of course the teachers pack that Pascal spoke about earlier, which we have published earlier on. These cards, this set, they are really open to everyone.
Okay, thanks, Charlo. I hope you could all hear Charlo well. Are you done, or?
I am done.
You're done, okay. But Charlo, you're absolutely right, and I think one of the next packs we're going to work on is a specific pack for students, because we had a lot of requests for working on that, and so this is definitely something that would be good. But we could also have a pack for school heads, right, Charlo?
Yeah, we can think about that, and we can have a pack for school principals. Why not?
I would
think
enjoy
school
working.
principals also. I think school principals also need to be very democratic in their processes because they need to model the practices that they want to see in their schools.
Thanks a lot. So now Gudrun is having prepared something for us too, and she is using the cards to do some assessments. So I'm going to give her the floor and try to put a PowerPoint on. So Ale, can you help me? What should I be doing?
You should share your screen if you click on the plus on the Skype.
Yeah.
Yes, it's working.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with this card, because in the beginning of last autumn, I asked my teacher students in natural sciences to write a letter to themselves as how teachers they want to become before they started the journey with us. So, can I?
Want to escape?
Yeah, no, just take the next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have all these letters that they wrote to themselves, and next week they will open these letters and draw something out of it, and they will use this. I will create a A3 paper out of it, and they will create a timeline. And in the beginning, they will read their own letters and write around the first person, the beginning of my journey. This is how I wanted to be. And then they will do the same after evaluating their process until now, their status today. And in the end, because we are always in continuous professional development, they will also create a person as I want to become. And after these 3 rounds of creating persons, they will get the following cards from the selection. And they will be asked to add to their, do they already have some of it? Is something that they want to develop further. And after this process, they will visit the picture again, that is here. And in the end, they will draw down their action plan by drawing their hand. And in the palm, they will write their aim. And in the fingers, they will write the routes to their aim and the time the routes in their finger tip. So this is my plan, and afterwards I will blog about it and tell you how it went and maybe develop the activity further. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Gudrun. I think this activity is very good for people to make their future plans. Also, probably if they have the cards and you give them the possibility to continue carrying them, almost, for example, in a portfolio,
Yeah.
they can continue developing and add more cards and play with that also. I think it's good material for that kind of activity. Thanks a lot. I hope you'll tell us how it went.
Yeah, and I will give you pictures as well. So I will.
Okay, and I'm going to follow up on another activity. And this activity that I'm going to tell you about is about conflict and how we learn from conflict. The example I'm going to use is conflict in schools, but I think this activity is adaptable, of course, to many other situations. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a story that was told on the platform of the community of practice, the Pestalozzi community of practice. Actually, one day I was going to go for a training, and I wanted this to build an activity, design it, and I needed stories of conflicts in schools, and I asked, and I got a lot of these stories. And even if you're more interested in this conversation, the discussion thread and everything, Ildiko, who is here with us, wrote an article in which there's a big part of the article is also based on what happened in that discussion thread. And there are also other articles that are interesting in how through the community we get materials that then help us build activities that we need for our practice. So I just chose one of those stories. And the story I'm going to tell you right now. So it's about a 16-year-old student whose name is Mark. And he's in a vocational college, grade 11. And he used to joke around with the pupils of his class, and especially with Rudy, in such a way that he pretended to be hitting him in his private parts. That is, that he made this sudden movement, but never actually touched him. Rudy, after a while, became more and more annoyed by this behavior, and he one day went to his friends and told them that he believed that Mark was gay. So during the break time, one of these friends that Rudy was talking to went back to Mark and said, well, I hear that you're gay and that you like doing things to boys. At this point, Mark got really angry and saw red and started a physical fight. That lasted only until others from the class intervened and stopped them from fighting. So in the incident, the story that was told, then the kids went to a teacher. The teacher heard about the story, and he sat the two kids down and the young people down and asked them what they had learned from this and asked them to apologize. So this is very often what happens. And the reason I chose this story is I think using the cards could have helped in this situation, especially trying to see what can be learned from the situation. And so what we could imagine is that the people who are involved in such a conflict really become aware that conflict is not only something that can be producing violence and hard feelings, but if it is processed, it can also be an opportunity to learn. And here you see, for example, we could take Mark and Rudy, and perhaps even someone who was a bystander in the story, who wasn't really a protagonist in what happened, but saw what happened and intervened or not. And so the cards that I could see used in this context are, I'm going to try, can you unshare? I'm not sure how to get out now.
I'm not a Mac person, sorry.
Yes, fantastic. And so in this particular story, of course, the different cards are used in different ways. And in this particular story, I would see, for example, that Mark could get something that would help him realize that the way he uses his body and body language is important. And so he could use this card, for example, that says that I pay attention to how my choice of words and body language express my beliefs, thoughts, and feelings. He could also be invited to reflect on, I try to understand behaviors and attitudes of people, other people who are different from me. And then I could imagine Rudy thinking about asking others for help instead of reacting also violently to violence that is done to him. And then probably finding out about people's thoughts and feelings before commenting on their actions. And two here that I would see, because I really like this idea of also involving the bystander. I act in defense of anybody who's being hurt or insulted, and then also I mediate when there's a misunderstanding and conflict. So giving these cards allows people to do some thinking on their own, also possibility to exchange the cards, like this is my answer to this card, this is how I feel about the possible behavior, but you, how did you feel about it, and really have a mediated discussion like that.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I really like the idea how she's thinking about positioning people in the sector, two people facing each other and the bystander standing in a different position. I think it's powerful in how you make the sector and create the space in your classroom even, or during interviews or throughout the activity.
Thank you, Gudrun. So these are 4 example activities. There are many others. I think that eventually what we're going to do is start writing a booklet that could go with the cards. We are eventually planning on doing a campaign, a Kickstarter campaign. Once we feel that we really have a tool that is complete, once we've gotten feedback from people, which I hope you will be able to give us when you use it, and once we've gathered more knowledge on how this can be used. I hope we got a lot of comments, questions, maybe some critical feedback by the visitors we have today. We've had 26 people, which is great. Probably a lot better than what Alice said, because he was already happy when we were 15. So you must be exhilarated right now. But I'm quite happy. So how do we do this? Can you give us some feedback on what we got in the chat, maybe?
Yes. So, okay. So there is a question from Marta, and it's about how to assure that the conversation of the speed dating does not go very general, instead of focused on each of us. It's for Gudrun.
No, I think it's for me. But,
no, it's for me, Nico. Sorry.
But I already answered in the chat, actually. But I can also say it. So what I usually do is I give specific questions. So it's not a general discussion about life. But for example, I tell them something to talk about, something like what is it that they already do in their life, in their practice, if they are teachers, to prevent discrimination in the classroom. And I ask them to take those 2 or 3 minutes to share one useful tip that their partner might benefit from. And by sharing so many tips and so many concrete things, it's not very risky. So it's not going to be too general, hopefully.
Okay,
Yeah.
there is one...
Can I add something to that?
Okay, sure.
Joseph Huber used them once in a group in Strasbourg with that same activity.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. And one feedback that we got from participants was, oh, democracy is also about that. Meaning that for them also what was useful is the individual responsibility, because we tend to think about democracy as institutions, voting, this and that. So even outside the rather general aspect of it, but there is a benefit within the general aspect, is just this realization about our individual responsibility.
Absolutely. I mean, all the statements, I think, promote this idea that we all can do something in our environments, in our circles, in our communities, to ensure that it's a democratic group. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And working with teachers with these cards, it's sometimes you also get teachers asking and realizing, oh, I am doubly responsible for, not just because I'm a citizen, not just because I'm living in a democratic society as an adult and active citizen, but because I am also a teacher and need to therefore nurture these skills and attitudes, these competences in my pupils. So that is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. There is one more question from Anna Maria, and it's about the format of the cards. And she is asking if there is the possibility to download the card also in doc version. No, it's just PDF, so it's easier to print and it's ready to go as it is. And another proposal, always from Anna Maria, and she knows Greek apparently well. And she asked if she can make translation of the card in Greek.
Efaristo, yes, of course.
Okay.
I think it means thank you, if I'm right, in Greek. I hope I'm not wrong.
I trust you.
Yeah, I think the translation is really important, and we'll be asking for goodwill from people around us, people we know, people who are interested to help us translate this. And of course, if you're interested in helping us translate this in as many languages as we can, then we can provide the sentences in a doc version on which you could work and then send us the version back so that we can reprint them on the cards in a pretty fashion, the way we have now. Right, Shabo?
Can I comment?
Sure.
Just wanted to say that we already translated the initial version into Hungarian and have been using them in the Pestalozzi Friday community. And we have used them, actually once we've used them to talk about participatory assessment practices. And my first thought was that I would never be able to find cards that will be matching this topic, but I did find quite a few that we could use. So it was an interesting experience. So we have most of them in Hungarian, and we are ready to update to have the new set in Hungarian too.
Fantastic. I think it helps us also when we have a class with students with different background or people with different language background. So we can, before, analyze what we have and use their own mother tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Very important.
Yeah, the cards for plurilingual classrooms, absolutely, and multilingual classrooms. I think it's challenging to translate them, right? I mean, the exercise itself can be really interesting, and so if you want also to be in a feedback loop while you're translating, of course that's possible. Ildiko, where did you share the Hungarian version?
We haven't shared it yet.
You haven't shared it yet?
Actually, I mean, we were three to translate, and it was very challenging, and we kept debating what the final versions could be.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in the making. But when it's final, or when we decide it's final, then we'll share.
Okay. Charlo, you think we can do that also on the website to have different versions, language versions, as we get them?
Yeah, I think we can do that, and people will be able to download the version in the language that they prefer. Why not?
Absolutely.
That's great. We'll certainly also go back to the Pestalozzi community asking them if they can give us a hand for this. Great question. Thank you, Anna Maria. Thank you, Marta. Are there other questions?
No, only proposal for new translation in different languages.
Which languages do we have proposals
So
in?
we have Swedish, Arabic, Italian, and French.
Awesome. Okay, so what's the first step for someone who wants to help?
So we have one very committed person from Sicily. She's willing to do that.
I can guess. I think her name starts with a C.
It is. And
Yeah.
it ends with Inzia Villa.
Awesome. Well, what you do is either contact one of us if you know us already, and if you don't have our emails, then you have the contact form on our website. You just go through the website and send us an email, and we'll contact you shortly.
Perfect.
Okay. Does anyone have anything they would like to say that they haven't yet said?
I'm so happy there is so much. For me, it's a very good answer for the first streaming event we have. We are promoting. So hopefully this will be the first of many.
Yeah, it takes practice.
Yeah.
But I think we managed it.
And the next one, I promise it will be better. Technically speaking.
Actually, can we ask everyone who's in here now with us to just say one word about what it was like? You can write that one word in the chat box, for example.
Yeah, for evaluation.
Yeah.
I can see only words like marvelous, wonderful, flawless.
Are you using a filter, Ale?
Okay, you can also put tips for improvements.
Yeah. And we can read it also the chat after the streaming event. It will be over. So feel free to comment anytime if you have suggestion, and we will see it.
Okay, that's great. And I guess our call for action will be, thanks a lot for all the goodwill for the translation. That's a great action. And then also our blogs are open for comments. So please put any comment or activity or information that you would like when you read something in the blog that inspires you. And so these cards are also a blog entry. If you do something with it and you want to give us feedback, that's a great place to do it. And then one day we'll probably collect also some feedback we got and create new activities maybe or something like that. And of course we'll mention you. Mentioning is really important. So when you're using the cards, we put them out there for free. Please tell people about Learn to Change when you're using them. And of course, when you give us material through the blog and we use it, you will equally be mentioned and thanked for the contribution. I think the Creative Commons idea here is very important. This is the way we're going to move into knowledge building. This is the future of education and learning, I think. So feel free to use and reuse and cite. All right, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, pleasure. I can hug you because you're right here next to me. But I hug you all.
See you very soon.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.